Feminism, the concept that women deserve the same rights as men, is a social issue that has pervaded public discourse for over a century. In this video, we will disseminate the origins of feminist movements around the globe and how the radical voice of a few groups can lead to political, economic, and social change for all. Female liberation movements have their origins in the United States. During the early 20th century, notable female leaders began advocating for equal rights for women, such as voting. The application of liberal feminist theory as outlined by pioneers during that time reached a head in the 1960s, when the rise of radical feminist groups initiated inflammatory protests against the patriarchal values of society. Feminist movements in the United States soon spread to other countries, launching a worldwide phenomenon known as global feminism. But before we explore specific movements, let's define feminism in a modern context. Chimamanda Adichie, a feminist scholar and orator from Nigeria, provides a good overarching definition of what it means to be a feminist today.
Feminist, a person who believes in the social, political, and economic equality of the sexes.
In the world today, not every country has adopted the same liberal social views the United States came to accept after feminist protests in the 60s. Russia and its policies, legislated by Vladimir Putin, largely exclude women from the public discourse, as well as ostracize groups such as the LGBT community. In response, punk rock band and advocacy group Pussy Riot has put on several demonstrations in which they protest Putin's regime and call for change. The following video depicts one of these demonstrations in which they use anti-Putin lyrics in a Russian Orthodox church.
Черные рясы, золотые погоны, все прихожане ползут на поклоны, призрак свободы на небесах. И правда отправит в Сибирь каталог. Глубоко глубее, главный седой, ведет протестующих снова конвой. Самое святейшего не оскорбить. Женщина, муж, дрожать и любить. Страсть, страсть, страсть Господня, страсть, страсть, страсть Господня, страсть, страсть, страсть Господня, страсть, страсть, страсть Господня.
Following that demonstration, the members of Pussy Riot were arrested by police forces for hooliganism, a Putin-supported Russian law that prohibits citizens from partaking in behavior associated with rioting or extreme protests. In the wake of Pussy Riot's arrest, prominent public figures in Western states, such as Hillary Clinton, have come out in support of the group's efforts to advocate for women's rights. However, Pussy Riot as an advocacy group is not anomalous for its condemnation of the policies of Putin and oppression in Eastern Europe.
The radical feminist group Femin started in Ukraine in 2008. Since then, it has garnered hundreds of members worldwide in places like Turkey, France, and the United States. Femin has also garnered massive media attention for their topless and often purposefully inflammatory protests.
In the following video, a Femin protest group demonstrates and battles police officials in Kiev, Ukraine, as a facet of growing unrest with the government's unwillingness to address the issue of female discrimination and objectification.
Я преступница! Что сделала? Я никуда не пойду! Вообще!
Ми українки! Ми жіночий рух Фемен! Наше покликання в протест!
Some denounce Femin on the grounds that they misrepresent women's rights within Islam, and that the largely white, middle-class feminist group should not speak for all feminists globally.
The following video details the grievances some Muslim groups have with Femin's protest tactics.
A self-proclaimed feminist organization which protests for the rights and freedom of women has turned its topless protests towards Islam. Femin, which has been in the news for its controversial and shocking forms of protest since 2008, recently began its campaign to support Tunisian activist Amina Tyler, a 19-year-old Muslim who spread outrage by posting topless images of herself online with the words "My body belongs to me." But Femen has not gone unchallenged, and Muslim women across the East and West have responded to the outrageous protests with their own opinions on the movement. Thousands, if not millions, of Muslim women denounce Femen across social media platforms, saying we reject Femen's Islamophobic and neo-colonialist crusade to save us.
While looking at other feminist groups worldwide, it becomes clear that while Femen may be best known for fighting objectification and censorship of women, many other feminists focus on what they perceive to be more pressing matters, with issues like job opportunity or equal protection under the law. Examples include the global movement Musawat, which means equality in Arabic, as well as the Malaysian organization Sisters in Islam. Both organizations believe that contextualized applications of Islamic teachings can be reconciled with the fight for female equality. Musawat and Sisters in Islam work with Islamic scholars to produce workshops and books that explain that Islam does not mandate injustice. Sisters in Islam held a march in Malaysia for National Women's Day, highlighting the disparities in job employment and unequal pay for women.
You know, undoubtedly, women in Malaysia have achieved a lot. We have access to schools, we have access to university, we have jobs and all that. But I think there's still a lot more to be done. I read an alarming statistic about how only 40% of women graduates actually enter the workforce, which seems to me like a huge waste of resources. You know, we educate all these girls and then they don't enter the workforce. And then the ones that do tend to drop out after a while because of the pressures of getting married and having to take care of the children, etc., etc. So there's still a lot of expectation on women, pressure on women to fulfill this type of gender roles where they have to take care of home, they have to take care of family, they have to take care of kids, and not so much on the guys. So it seems to me that we educate a lot of girls and then waste them, and we should make better use of that resource.
So I'm Hadil, I'm from Egypt, and I'm working here with a group called Sisters in Islam, and it's hosting a global movement called Musawat, which is working for equality and justice in the Muslim family, for reform of laws and practices that discriminate against women in the Muslim family. I would say my statement is every day is Karbala. Every day is a battle against tyrants, against oppression, and women are always in the center of it. And without that, the revolution doesn't make sense.
There's a larger goal we must not lose sight of when speaking about conflicts within feminism globally. In featuring Femen, we highlight a group who by some measures are relatively successful. Yet too many women of color believe that Femen does not represent their idea of equality. This is an important reason to study feminism, to stop viewing it as an umbrella term and understand that the fight for equality and the goal, equality itself, means very different things to different women.
Feminism as a global issue addresses the need for women everywhere to attain equal treatment, rights, and opportunities in every sphere of life. The grassroots protest groups discussed in this video demonstrate the existence of unrest among certain constituencies in the world today. Although in and of themselves not directly involved with political change, these groups and organizations rally the voices of citizens who in turn take feminist ideals to their government representatives. As we've seen in the past, legislative change comes about because of groups such as Pussy Riot and Sisters in Islam.
We must all analyze the subsets and waves of feminism today. But we also must stop viewing global feminism as one voice, one paragraph in a chapter of a textbook, an alternative ideology. Because women's opinions, issues, and influences are at the heart of politics everywhere. They should ideally have such an equal voice in all politics, in all countries, that one needn't pause and ask, oh hey, what are the views of those feminists? Constructivist theory believes that ideas, norms, and the meanings attached to words like feminism influence our reality. The group Musawat agrees with this line of thinking, that pluralistic, inclusive collaboration between NGOs, activists, scholars, lawyers, policymakers, and grassroots men and women are the only way to achieve true equality.
You wake up, post up, run around in it, flossing on it, this diamond.